I've been learning languages for many years now, first English and then Japanese and now French and Korean. People often ask me how I learned so many at the same time. The truth is, it is not easy. There are plenty of days when I just want to lie in bed and do nothing. In this video, I want to share tips on how I find the motivation to learn multiple languages even after burnout. First, it is important to normalize burnout. It happens when we push ourselves too hard. When that happens, remind yourself why you started learning languages in the first place. For me, I often have to force myself to start small, maybe reviewing vocabulary for 10 minutes or watching a short video, and then slowly build back my routine. Honestly, it is not motivation that keeps me going, it is self-discipline. I know that learning languages is good for me and that I will see results if I keep putting in the effort. The best part about learning a language is that I can actually see my progress. When I notice I can understand a movie scene or a conversation better than before, that sense of improvement becomes my motivation. When we think of studying, we often imagine sitting down for hours, but longer hours don't always mean better results. It's okay and important to take breaks and limit your study time when your focus starts to fade. For example, after I come home from work, I'm usually tired and just want to recharge. Studying during that time feels more like a chore than a hobby. So instead of forcing myself, I've learned to study for shorter periods when I have the most energy. I am a morning person, so I like to study early in the day when my mind feels fresh and focused. I also notice that I retain information much better during this time. Have something to look forward to in the morning, like making a fun drink or a nice breakfast, makes it easier to wake up early and start learning. It feels like a small reward for showing up and putting in the effort. Try finding your most productive time of the day. It can make language learning feel much more enjoyable and sustainable. When we start something new, it is easy to go all in, doing all the exercises, spending hours studying, and wanting quick results. But with languages, that approach burns you out fast. It's better to build momentum little by little. For example, if you're starting to read in a new language, don't begin with 5 chapters. Start with just 1 or 2 pages. When I started using a French textbook, I noticed that each chapter was packed with information, so I began breaking it down into smaller sections. I focus on fully understanding one paragraph before moving on to the next, and I make sure to answer the questions at the end to test my comprehension. This slower pace helps me absorb the material more deeply and stay consistent without feeling overwhelmed. I feel burnt out. I feel like there's so many things going on in my life and I just don't have time for language learning, but we're going to change that together. Sometimes studying can feel overwhelming with grammar charts, vocabulary lists, and lots of notes. That's why I like to mix in fun and relaxing activities that don't feel like studying. For example, when I was learning Japanese, I used to read Japanese magazines. They had beautiful layouts with articles on interior design, food, and fashion. There were lots of pictures, so even if I didn't understand every word, I could still enjoy them. I've started doing this again because it helps me stay connected to the language without any pressure. Recently, I've also been listening to French songs because I still struggle to keep up with native speakers. Music helps me get used to how words sound naturally. I also love podcasts. They let me learn while I'm walking, cleaning, or commuting. Learning doesn't always have to mean sitting at a desk. When it's time to take notes, I try to make it as effective and as fun as possible. Sure, I could fill pages and pages with handwritten notes, but that can get boring fast. So I use different colors and highlighters to make key points stand out. I am a visual learner, so color coding really helps me remember things. I also love adding sticky notes or cute stickers. It sounds small, but it makes the process more enjoyable. When I come back to review later, those colors and stickers help me quickly spot the important parts. Plus, seeing a page full of color and fun designs just makes me happier and more motivated to keep going. Another thing that helps me stay motivated is documenting my progress. I've tried many different ways, sometimes electronically, sometimes with a physical journal. It doesn't really matter which method you choose. What's important is that you can see how far you've come, even if it's just a few books or a few lessons. Those small wins add up.